This is our villa.
Colour fades, sounds muffle, internal noises off, jumbling, meshing, to form a distorted coalescence of a fogged understanding. Thumping organs announce their chaos, chasing me into a silhouette of existence. Sepia tones chase key tones, and I am broken. Death stalks, so it goes, but he will not find me, not this time, nor any other. For who I was and what I am, what I know and how I feel will be my shield, my spark and my guide. I'm back, I'm whole, I'm me.
I was hit with a heavy diagnosis, type 1 diabetes at age 13. But not knowing of this condition, how to treat it, when it began, put my life on pause. At a young developing age, my life was instantly different and changed through my teenage years. School friends asking where I've been and why I have to inject myself. I was most worried about how I would be interpreted now from the others. I was fixated on perception, how I'd be seen by everyone else. My teenage years, I would say, were quite challenging, tackling a lifelong condition at a young age. However, it built who I am today and shaped who I continue to become. Growing up with a medical condition that involves a daily routine of constant self-care and self-awareness for the rest of your life was terrifying to me. It took a while, but eventually through my school years and growing up as a young man, I learnt to accept who I am. That me becoming diabetic was a part of me and not my enemy. This diagnosis has challenged me in almost every aspect of my life. At times, and still to this day, it has impacted me and taken a huge toll on my mental health and struggling socially as a young adult. Being able to accept who you are and why you are here is one of the hardest ongoing barriers I've ever had to confront and overcome. But here I am now telling my story, able to be myself and voice my own experiences. In order to stay healthy, happy and alive, you must use the tools to get your paradise life.
This story of insulin is told you by two men whose experience and authority in this field is unique. On your right is Professor Charles Best, who with the late Sir Frederick Banting discovered insulin. In the centre is Dr. R.D. Lawrence, himself one of the first to receive insulin and whose professional life since then has been devoted to the relief of diabetes. I am Dr. Liston, sitting on your left. In fact, did you actually discover insulin?
It's a little difficult to fix an exact date. It was toward the end of July, 26th or 27th of July 1921.
Dr. Lawrence, would you...
Well, Charlie, I've often wanted to know. I know there were two of you, Fred, afterwards Sir Frederick Banting, and yourself. I wonder who realised first of the terrific discovery you'd made, and who spoke first about it, and what you said to each other.
Well, I think he was leaning over my shoulder when I was doing the blood sugars. I did the chemistry and he did the surgery. I suppose, well, I wouldn't like to say that I saw the lowering before he did, because he was there all the time. Imagine we turned to each other and said, I think we've got it.
Yes.
sort of simultaneously.
Frederick Banting, born in 1891 and died during the rise of the Second World War in 1941. Banting was a scientist and physician from Canada, co-discoverer of insulin alongside Dr. Charles Best at the University of Toronto in 1921. Before making this discovery of transferring insulin, those who are diabetic had a lifespan of up to 5 years max. This happened because the immune system would begin to break down all the energy and fat, causing the body to shut down without any insulin to subdue. To this day, Banting and Best are known by the team that saved 300 million lives and counting. Given the lack of medical equipment and technology in the early 20s while trying to find a solution, 10 dogs that were tested to extract their insulin died. However, in 1921, they were able to keep a dog named Marjorie alive and began to extract insulin from cows at slaughterhouses, as they have much larger pancreases and able to treat more efficiently. Given this, 14-year-old Leonard Thompson became the first type 1 diabetic person ever to receive a dose of purified injected insulin. The university knew they didn't have enough for all the patients suffering with no organic or synthetic insulin, so they collaborated with local pharmacies and Connaught Laboratories, another university and laboratory facility in Toronto. This treatment then expanded from North America to eventually the whole of Europe, giving Frederick Banting the Nobel Prize for the discovery of insulin in 1923, also becoming the youngest person from Canada at age 32 to win the Nobel. He shared this award with John MacLeod, who he pitched his theory to originally. He is a physiologist working primarily in biochemistry, which was a key factor into this discovery. When the word was out, scientists were able to alter organic insulin that would be best suited for patients, using injections as a form of installment. However, in the decades ahead, there were long-term complicated problems. Glucose levels were not managed as well as hoped. Furthermore, to the 21st century, we are now able to calculate exactly how many units to inject for our carbohydrate intake to manage our glucose levels. Now, to present day, we are able to create synthetic insulin from recombinant DNA. This substance is created by scientists to be infused into genes of the body. It is positioned into bacteria known as recombinant microorganism, which can produce protein planted by a human gene. This reformed human gene is created in which they remove a single part of the bacterial DNA, known as the plasmid. It is then replaced by the original developed organic insulin gene, only taking part of the bacterial DNA, the plasmid, forming its loop again. The now repurposed plasmid DNA, or recombinant, is transferred back to the original bacteria, ready to be placed into a fermentation tank, containing nutrients which is used to help grow larger amounts of bacteria quickly. This will then purify and create human insulin, ready to be used and treated to. Give it a clap now, so that I can sync it up.
Yeah.
Hello, mate.
So my name's Elliot Amari, and I'm diabetic. I was diagnosed when I was 18. I'm now 26, so it's been 8 years, yeah. I had a bit of a funny diagnosis story. I just started getting really thirsty, super dry lips, feeling really tired, yawning all the time. It sort of crept up on me. I very much ignored it. I was in my A-levels. I was trying to get into uni. I was like, priorities. I don't care that I'm feeling a little bit weird. I have a bit of an overbearing mum, that's how I'm going to put it. She kind of picked up on the symptoms first.
Yeah.
She was like, Elliot, why are you going to the toilet in the middle of the night like 5 times? That's not normal, that's not sort of right or whatnot. I think this happened probably for like about a week. Maybe it annoyed her, maybe bugged her the wrong way. She was insistent that I get a GP appointment. Then one day I was in one of my A-level lessons, and then the receptionist came over and was like, oh, Elliot, you have an appointment here for the dentist. Mum's here to pick you up. Instantly knew he wasn't for the dentist.
Really?
Hadn't been dentist for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So I go out, I'm fuming, I'm like, Mum, like I have exams like in 2 weeks, like what are you doing? And she was like, no, Elliot, we'll take you to the GP. She is literally me dragging me to the GP. I'm 18 as well, like I can do it all myself.
Yeah.
So I get there, speak to the doctor about what's happening. I'm very much underplaying it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just a bit of dry lips, going to the toilet, nothing much. Doctor's like, okay, here's a cup. could you pee in it for me, please? Go, pee. Give him the cup. It basically tests your blood sugar.
Okay.
But it's like a really, really old method.
Okay.
Like, method used in like 2000s, dare I even say 90s sort of thing. Dips it in, sees that like the colour it lines up to or whatever is like high sugars. So my sugar's probably like 20 something.
Yeah.
Maybe 25 going. And he's like, this is probably indicative of someone with diabetes.
Yeah.
He tells my mum to take a seat and says, well, yeah, your son probably has diabetes.
So we were in Tenerife, which was a big holiday for us, with Jay and Barney and your cousins. Was just around your diagnosis. Was on the 10th of November 2013 when you were diagnosed in hospital. So the other photos in Tenerife were the 1st of November 2013. That was 10 days before your diagnosis. And we were on holiday. During the holiday, you were poorly and we didn't even know it. Looking back, there were really significant signs. Up every evening, going to the toilet many times for a wee in the night. So much energy. Also very clear, bless you, was a dramatic weight loss. We got back to the UK. We went to the bonfire at Poynings, as we always did, with friends. We bought you and Sam a Coke, and you absolutely downed it all. Normally Coke, fizzy drinks of any kind, take a while to drink, but you had downed it in one great gulp. I knew absolutely nothing about diabetes at the time, but thought about what she'd said, and it stuck in my mind. And the week carried on as normal, but towards the end of the week, you were texting me and saying you were feeling really tired and thirsty all the time. Anyway, Saturday you seemed fine, but by Sunday morning, which was the 10th, you'd had a shower, you came out, you looked absolutely exhausted, you had no energy, and that was it. We got you dressed. I took you straight up to the emergency doctors, which was a building attached to the hospital at the time. You had declined rapidly by this point. We saw the doctor, and she immediately asked you to do a urine sample and tested your ketones on the urine sticks, and you were off the scale. She believed you had type 1 diabetes. The doctor asked us to go directly up to the Royal Alex. We both stood outside. You cried, bless you. I hugged you, and you said, Mum, does that mean I can never have another Mars bar? I laughed through tears and said, no, my darling, I'm sure it doesn't mean that. I remember that very clearly. We went into A&E, and you were seen immediately. The photo was taken in A&E before heading to the ward when the nursing staff and the consultant were trying to take your bloods. The staff couldn't draw blood out of your arms as it was so thick, and you were going into ketoacidosis. Then we called Dad and Sam from the hospital bed. That's the story, my love, and the point that life changed.
In your teens, to get something this significant is difficult.
Yeah, no, it was. I'll be honest with you. Whilst I was in the GP and he told me that, I didn't even think like my brain registered really what was going on. So yeah, it was a bit of a journey, sort of like working through it and stuff like that. And again, I think as I got in my late teens, I very much had to sort of deal with it myself, dare I say, in a sense that I kind of had to sort of like learn it by myself. Obviously, my mum was there; she helped me out and stuff, but. You know, literally 6 months, maybe 3 months after, I'm off to uni sort of thing. It's all on your own, you're all on your own, Elliot.
I became a lot more resilient.
Yeah, well, we can sort of make our own decisions. I'm going to eat this because I want to eat this. I'm going to do this because I want to do this and stuff. It's very different, especially someone who's been diabetic since they were like 14. So my job role is health and wellbeing practitioner with special responsibilities for diabetes. So it basically means that I do health and wellbeing work with young people. That's mostly sort of like one-to-one work, on in groups, supporting and almost being that bridge between like the hospital and the sort of patient. And then there was a role that opened up to work within hospitals with young people around diabetes. I thought I'd be fitting because I'm diabetic myself. And I really love the role, to be completely honest with you. I like to think anyway that the patients really appreciate me as well, just because it's someone who is literally in their position, in their shoes, and can really understand what they're going through. So when I come in there, you know, I take a really step back. I go like, look, I want to know who you are as a person, because your diabetes is secondary, you know, and almost take the approach that I wish someone sort of would have done on me, literally like every single day of it. I think diabetes is something that's always like in the peripheral of my vision. Feeling a little bit dizzy, I have to check, or is it my diabetes and stuff? So there's always like little things playing at me. I will say it does affect my day-to-day life quite a lot.
What people are going to think about it. So would you say it's affected your mental health?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Million percent, honestly. Like, mental health, physical health, even just like my confidence in my own self, my own ability, what I can do, what I can't do and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anyone that I was diabetic. And I thought it was fine. I thought it was a non-issue or whatnot, because honestly I was just really scared that like maybe the coaches or other people would be like, oh, Elliot's diabetic, you know, we need to be a little bit softer with him, treat him a little bit more differently. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be treated just like a normal person, like just any other person sort of thing, like just as mean, just as horrible, you know, put through the, you know, just because there's I just didn't want to stand out, basically.
Sure.
Obviously, there's a lot of stigma and lack of understanding, or sort of almost there's just like a lack of knowledge and insight into it. Honestly, in the 8 years I've been diabetic, I've seen a massive improvement in access to care, technology, and just lots of changes. I'm really hopeful that in the next 8 years it's going to be even greater, even more amazing than that. So I'm trying to be as positive as I can be, and yeah, amazing. I'm really excited for the future.
Amazing, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Really appreciate it, man.
Here we are now, with you living with diabetes, which is part of you, and growing more confident and familiar with your condition that does not define you, but you are living with, and doing an incredible job of understanding and dealing with your condition. You are such a brave young man, and I continue to be in awe of you. I am now, and always have been, and always will be incredibly proud of you. I hope more than anything else, you can be incredibly proud of yourself.
Love you so much, Mum. Bye.